Oh man, I'm totally disconnected from whatchamacallit right now, but at the very least, I'll get my thoughts in, and then if I need to replay the game, I could just replay the game. But oh man, all right, Astral Chain has been defeated, and what a game! This game has been super crazy good, and yeah, just like my overall thoughts on it was fan freaking tastic. Um, I, I mean, I, I mean that's basically my thoughts in a nutshell, and that's probably how all of this is going to be going. But thoughts on the story? I think the story could have been a little bit more interesting in the sense that I wish they took a different approach with how they were revealing things, but I still enjoyed what I played. Um, I think like some of the stuff like Jenna could have been a little bit more forthcoming on her information. I think she could have died a little bit later. That would have been nice, I suppose. That way we can get a little bit more information out of her, find out what she's actually trying to do. I'm still not sure what Yosef was trying to accomplish. Mostly because if he was telling us while we were fighting those dudes, I was paying attention to fighting those dudes and I wasn't listening to the dialogue, reading the dialogue, any of that. So there's that. Let me see. And then story was a little tight-lipped on its secrets. I didn't get the impression I could piece things together before some of the big reveals happened. Yeah, I kind of mentioned that. For gameplay, mechanics, and design, some of the gameplay elements that stand out. I don't know what Legion maintenance does. Hopefully that's something that is interesting. No direct saving except for at Neuron Base or at the super secret base. I think this was an unfortunate thing for me because there were many circumstances where I would have liked to save and then end it for the day, and I wasn't able to do that. So the game kind of forces you to play through each file / chapter all the way through. And I don't really trust the game to save my or auto save my progress, so you know, I don't know. Let's see. I wish the resonance mode was introduced earlier. It's really awesome. It is really awesome, and yeah, I think there was a slight missed opportunity there. Hey, Digital Hearts did some quality assurance on this. Let's go, Digital Hearts. Let's see, for the combat. An interesting and fun system with the baton by itself. With the Legion added on, it's even more fun and dynamic. Then you get additional Legions, which add even more options and complexity. Then you get Resonance Mode. This game has so many layers on top of its combat, and they all work so well together. And it's fantastic how deep the combat goes without it being too overwhelming, and yet there's just so many things you can do in combat. It's great. I like it a lot. All the mechanics revolving around the chain, from wrapping enemies in it to stun them and putting them in a chain, putting the chain in front of charging enemies to stop their charges, another fun layer added onto the combat. You would like it's just another cool thing that you can do. Like, the chain is actually something that you can work with and manipulate to help control the battle. And that was a really, really good idea. And hats off to the people that worked on that and thought of that idea, because it was fantastic. Let's see. The dungeons, I thought the dungeons were all right. I don't really have any issues with any of the dungeons. There was no crazy backtracking or anything like that, so that was great. Let me see. Miscellaneous sound, the music sounded pretty freaking great. There were some tracks that I wasn't able to hear, but for a lot of the tracks that I did hear, they were amazing. Especially some of the boss musics. I'm a fan of the orchestra / opera kind of sound, so very happy with that music. For voice acting, there's a silent protagonist. This is probably my biggest criticism of this game, is the silent protagonist is not something that I enjoy, And if I didn't have the silent protagonist, I'd have a way better time with the game. Let me see. The main story is fully voice acted. This is something that I'm very happy with, at least aside from the main character or whatever. I'm always trying to I'm gonna say preach, but I really like it when games recognize that if you're gonna have voice acting, you voice act the main story, and everything else you don't have to voice act that. That's totally fine. But main story is an absolute minimum if you're putting in voice acting. If you're not putting in voice acting, feel free to not voice act anything. That's fine. That's just where I sit in that camp. The graphics, I thought the graphics were really well done. I think they nailed the style that they were going for in this game as well, because it does have a stylistic look to it. You know, it has that future-ish look, but it's also kind of like cell shady and kind of like has like a little muddy ness in its colors. And I think it works great. I'm a fan. Replay value, not sure if there's too much replay value in the game or not. There are a bunch of missions that I didn't do, whether I missed them or they can only be accessed later on. There's a lot of items later on that I can't get my hands on and things like that. So assuming you get all of your legions at the end, or like in a new game plus, then I could see an additional playthrough being interesting in that regard. And if the developer is watching, this is a fantastic game. It's just great. The combat really is the star of this game for me, and I really do feel like there's just so much depth and a lot of interesting mechanics to it that it's just hard not to enjoy, I guess. It's just fan-freaking-tastic. So in that regard, I would love a sequel to this game. I would love, even if it's not a sequel, like a sidequel, if that's something that I can say. You know, just to keep this combat going and see what other things they could add to it, to where it just has more to it, but is not, you know, overwhelming. So yeah, that's my thoughts, and I like this game a lot. I'm gonna have to play through it again, because I'm pretty sure I lost some footage, but I'll go through it and see what happens. So yeah, let's see what else we get here for the end. All right, so I guess I get a C at the end of everything, which that's fine. I got a lot of C's in there. I didn't start doing so hot until towards the later part of the game, so I'm okay with that. If you're playing, you can now access file 12 by loading a save file with finished game data. Well then. All right. Well, that is that. All right, so that'll wrap it up for this. Thanks for watching, appreciate it. I'll be back Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific for some more video games. So yeah, thanks for watching.